Right, so now we're going to quickly talk about self-development. So the first thing on my list here is timing. Do better with timing. And I would like to put it this way: redeem the time. One of the biggest, the most valuable thing that we have as humans is 24 hours in a day. And not even excluding myself now, I found that humans don't value that. They have just little. You see money, you can have 1,000 naira today and have 1,000,000 naira tomorrow, and you can decide to squander, you can decide to spend as much as you want. But you see, time, it is never more than 24 hours. But it's crazy how we don't value, we don't use our time judiciously. We allow things to distract us. We allow people to step into our time every now and then without we putting control to it. We don't make the effort to make good use of our time, and it's for different reasons. But first thing I just want to say now is redeem the time. Time is precious. And then there was someone said that whatever you're using your time to do now will tell what you will be tomorrow. And if you read the stories of people who became famous for being rich or whatever it is, you find that they sat down to put in the work. And of course, putting in the work means they had to let go of distractions and focus on what they were doing and achieving what they needed to achieve within the time frame. I'm going to use one person as an example that's supposed to be popular among ladies in Nigeria. Her name is Vicky James. She's a fashion designer, a luxury fashion designer. It was a bit of a little shock for me to hear that she has been so busy working on her bridal collection, and then she had to spend nights and days sleep at her workshop just so that she can get it done. Of course, it means she was utilizing that time. Some of us that are tailors, I want to be like the Vicky James, we sleep more than her, even in the middle of this her wealth. So I was thinking, okay, I was saying to myself that if she is still spending so much time to put in the work now, of course she has to make good use of her time, and for her to be sleeping and waking in the workshop means she has to stay away from social media for a long time, things like that. It means that before she got there, she's used to the work, so that's why she can still work now. She also did a lot of work to be where she is now, and she's not even stopping. She's still doing more work to move to a better place. It just shows how people who have learned to manage their time achieve things. And prior to now, I think multitasking is one of the very good ways to keep to time and manage your time. But it depends on what you're actually multitasking. In multitasking, one of the best ways to multitask is when you're doing a brain or a mindful thing and you're doing a mindless thing. Say for example, you're commuting to work in the morning and then you're on your laptop trying to finish up a proposal you're writing, or you're listening to an audio book, or you're reading a physical book, or you're just getting something done. So you're commuting to work because of course you're not the one driving, or even if you're the one driving, you're listening to an audio book, whatever it is. The point is, of course, driving is mindful until you have learned how to drive and you have mastered driving. Then it becomes a second nature. So you have to be doing one thing that is mindful and another one that is not mindful, so that doing something that needs your brain to concentrate fully on, and then another thing that your brain does not really need to concentrate fully on. That's the best way to multitask. Another thing is to put time in boxes, say from 3 to 5, and then we can also talk about boundaries here. Putting yourself also within a boundary to say, okay, I'm not going to do social media until it's 7 p.m. in the night and I'm back from work, and I won't exceed 8 p.m. You have given yourself a boundary for social media. I will try to sleep early so I can get up early so that I'm ready for the day. Sleeping early by maybe 10 p.m. You've set a boundary for yourself. So it's also good when you want to make the most out of your 24 hours. It is important to section your day into time, like time frame, time bounds. And even when you're at work, section your work into time boxes. Say for example, you say 8 to 10, okay, 8 to 8:30. I would detox from Lagos traffic. You have to also put all of that into time frames too as well, because if not, you detox from Lagos traffic from 8 to 10, and you discover that 10 o'clock you have not done anything in the day. So that's for if you're living in Lagos. But whatever it is, you can decide that 8 to 8:30 is you taking your breakfast, then 8:30 to 9 maybe responding to mails that's from the previous day, then whatever it is, then maybe arranging your day for your time bound for the day, then from 9 work begins fully, then you can, whatever it is, however you want to arrange it, then you now say, okay, from 5 a.m. I'm awake, or 5:30 I'm awake, I do this and this and this till this, then once I'm back from work, I get home by 6:30 max, and from 6:30 to 7 I'm doing this, from 7 to 8 I'm doing this, and then it can be different from different days, it might not be the same all through the week. Just putting yourself on a timetable per se, but not something too rigid that you cannot follow. But putting yourself on a timetable really helps you to manage your time. But when you're not, you didn't put yourself on a timetable, you don't even you don't even know what you're supposed to be doing next, because you don't have a time, like you don't have any to do, you don't have anything planned out. That is when you would waste a lot of time doing nothing, maybe scrolling through social media or something. So time is of the essence. So it's important. When nobody's getting older, you discover that before you know it, it's already 2024. Wow, before you know it, 2024 would have gone halfway, and before you look again, it's already the end of the year. So one of the ways that you can do that, like I said, is to set a lot of time bounds, maybe with your phone alarms. You can say you can put a lot of alarms. And then one thing about alarms is that you can get too used to alarms that they don't even ring a bell anymore in your head. You just see your alarm rings at a time and you're like, oh, it is time for this, or it's time for that, and then you just snooze it. But it is there for you to remind you so that you can get up and do that thing. So time is important. The next thing is distraction. I think I already mentioned some things about distraction, but one thing I just want to say is that distraction is the stealer of time, and there are different kinds of distraction. There's the distraction that is external, maybe your phone rings, or probably a notification, something just clinks on your phone, and then you're curious, you want to go and check and see what is being said. And most times what is on the social media that you're checking is not beneficial to you in any way. 2, the thing is not urgent, it can wait another 2 days before you check it. 3, it is even probably a waste of time for you, and then at the end of the day you're wasting your time, spending your time on what is not so important, and then you have left what is very important undone. So this is one thing that distraction does, which is really not good, and that's the external distraction. There's internal distraction, where your mind is just flying around everywhere, you're not able to concentrate. And then there is human distraction where people come to you and just get in the way of what you're supposed to do at the time, or because you feel like, oh, this is someone who is important to me. Like, say for example, you're working from home, right? So people can come and visit you in your house. Then someone comes around on a weekday where you're supposed, during working hours, supposedly working hours for you, and they just knocks on your door and oh, I came to visit, how you doing, what's up. You need to tell the person that, please, can you let me know before you're coming? Then the person needs to agree with you that, okay, I take visitors only on weekends, or only on so days, or only by so time. So we already talked about boundaries and people respecting your boundaries. If the person doesn't respect that, we're not babies anymore, right? If the person doesn't respect that, I don't see a reason what the person is doing in your life. I don't. The person should understand that you're busy. The person starts throwing tantrums, and then this is also to ladies. When your boyfriend or your husband says he's busy, respect it. Respect that time. Does he not spend time with you? He does. But when he's busy, witchcraft wants to enter you. That's the time you want to go and disturb him. I know I feel it too. You want that attention, that 100% attention. But how will food be put on the table? How will goals be achieved if you don't allow him to do what he's supposed to do when he's supposed to do it? So it's important to also respect people's boundaries as well. If a human comes to your apartment where you're supposed to be working remotely, and you cannot tell the person that, of course politely, that I need this time to myself at this time, I don't need distractions. So maybe you have a child and your husband, but you're working from home, and you cannot get them to agree with you that this time of the day you're supposed to be away so that you can work and achieve something for the day. Then you're not keeping to your time. You're allowing a lot of things distract you. And what is distraction? Basically, distraction can actually be you doing the right thing but at the wrong time. So distraction is you doing the right thing or a wrong thing at the wrong time. So the thing here is the wrong timing. So when you're doing something, and how are you going to know that it's the wrong time if you have not planned your day, if you have not planned your life, if you have not planned giving yourself time bounds to say, okay, from this time to this time I'm supposed to do this. If you're living a carefree life where anything goes anytime, then nothing should be a distraction to you. You can always pick up your phone and scroll through social media for 1 hour plus, endlessly, without any remorse, because of course you don't think it's a distraction, or maybe you feel it's a distraction, but what exactly is it distracting you from? You need to have that timing. You need to know what you're supposed to be doing at that time. Say, okay, this thing is distracting me from this. How do I get this out of the way? We'll get to that. Also, having your children around is not a bad thing. Tending to them is not a bad thing. But when you're tending to them at the time you're supposed to be working, then it's a distraction to you. So you should know how to fix that. If it's to attend to, of course they go to school, right? For the ones that can go to school, are at the age of going to school. Of course, if the child is not yet at the age of going to school, any other thing you're doing rather than helping the child attend to the child who needs your primary care at the time, that thing will now become a distraction, unless you have put something in place to make sure that child gets support. I don't know if you understand what I mean. If it's a child who is still very little and still depends on you for everything, doing something else when that child needs your attention is the distraction. But if you need to do that thing, you need to look for something or someone to help that child, support that child while you're doing that thing. Then the child will now be a distraction. I believe you understand what I'm saying. Until you have provided for the child, then you can now see the child as a distraction and find a way to block out that distraction. But if the child depends on you solely, and say for example the child is in the house and you're in the house, probably working from home, and you're the only person in the house, and the child is crying, and you're probably attending to a meeting, an official meeting, that meeting is a distraction to you attending to your child. However, because you know that you're going to be in a meeting and you have a child that depends solely on you and you're all alone in that house, you would find a way to get someone to attend to that child, to take that child to a daycare, whatever it is, so that you can attend to the meeting. Now, if in the course of the meeting the baby's cry, baby's noise, whatever it is, enters the meeting such that your attention is divided towards that child, then that child is distracting you, so you need to fix it. I think you understand what I'm trying to say now. So let me not digress. We're talking about how that distractions can come in different ways, and it's important to help block them out. So, and if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing in a day, you can't really say for sure that something is a distraction. So you should have already laid out what you are supposed to do in a day before you can start saying that thing, you're doing something else, is a distraction. Say for example, if you have said every Friday by 8 p.m. is movie time with my first daughter, or story time with my son or my children, but 8 p.m. you are still working, you're still in one meeting. Excuse me, that meeting is distracting you from what you're supposed to be doing. I think you understand what I'm trying to say now. So distraction is doing anything you're doing, but not doing it at the right time, because that time was meant for something else. Okay, so that's distraction. Now, how to get distractions out? You might have to do some drastic things. Like I know someone who paid my husband to. This is how it is. He said to my husband that if I'm not able to achieve this thing, I will pay you. Do you get it now? He will be losing money. I don't know if that's what I mean. He will be losing money so that, because he did not do what he was supposed to do. So there's one beautiful mystery that I found when I was reading the book Indistractable. The man said, the writer of the book said that the pain of discomfort or loss of something is greater than the pleasure of a reward for something. So you find that people tend to not lose focus when they hear that there's a punishment for losing focus, than if they heard that there was a reward for not losing focus. Say for example, they gather 10 people and they say, write this exam. If you lose focus from the exam, from writing the exam, okay, let me look for something simpler. Sit here, your phone will be beeping, Instagram and all, but don't pick it up and look through it. If you can do that, we will pay you 10k at the end of this session, and this session is going to last for 1 hour. Do you know that a lot of people will say, which one is 10k? Bring that phone, Jerry, let me press my phone. But if they said, you will give us 10k, it's still the same 10k. You give us 10k. Do you know that more people, because they know that the pain of losing the 10k is harder for them than the joy, is more for them than the joy of receiving the 10k. I think I'm able to explain the theory in a way that you understand. So one of the ways that you can help reduce distraction is put a pain in front of you. So that was what the guy did. He said, if I'm not able to achieve this thing, I will pay you. So when he thinks about, I don't want to lose 100k, I don't want to lose 50k, he'll get on his job and make sure he does it. So that's one of the ways. Another way is you have to make drastic decisions if you need to, maybe for a short while or whatever it is. It's always good for a short while. Maybe you can say you want to go off social media, uninstall all those apps on your phone because you feel like it's becoming too much and you're not achieving anything. You may decide you want to mute everybody on your WhatsApp status so that you're not seeing anybody's status. It can be anything, but the point is for you to gain back your time, you need to do as much as you can within your power so that you take out distraction. I also would encourage you to read the book Indistractable. If you're interested in the book, you can reach out to me. I would share a link where you can download the audio version. Indistractable will just really help you to stay focused. The book is loaded. Alright, so I think that is all for apologies, that's not all. The third thing on self-development is take advantage of things. In other words, be an opportunist. Now, not in a bad way. When I say be an opportunist, what I mean is this: don't sleep on things. Don't wait. For example, let me give an example. People are moving into tech. People are moving into AI. They're using a lot of AI related tools, and then you don't know how to use an AI tool, a simple AI tool, maybe such as ChatGPT. You have no idea what they're talking about. Hello, how do you want to develop yourself? We're talking about self-development, right? How do you want to develop yourself if you are still living in the past? Because anybody who doesn't know AI as we speak now, for example, is living in the past. No offense to the person, but it's just true. So it's important that you take advantage of things as they come up. Take advantage of things. Don't just be laid back. You see someone post an opportunity on funds, maybe applying for a business fund, and then you need funds in your business, but you're just laid back. I beg, nobody wins this thing. Even if you don't win it, you learn from whatever you did not do right. You improve whatever skills that thing has pushed you to do. Maybe prepare your CV better and write an essay, do a video, sharpen your public speaking skills. Whatever it is, you might even get to the stage where you meet with people, connect with sharp minds, and have better opportunities. And if you do that a couple of times, you'll even be in a better place to apply for that thing and get it this time. So I believe that if you can take advantage of things, you see, I am tech cohorts here and there, and some of them are free. Take advantage of it. You see a training and you just need to pay stipends to get the training done. Take advantage of it. Don't just let opportunities pass you by. Don't let opportunities pass you by. Take advantage of things, especially if you can find them at very little or no cost. Take advantage of things. So the fourth thing here is for self-development is this one is funny. Do not live in Delulu land. So one of the major things plaguing women of our generation is delusion. We think we can do a lot of things that we really cannot do, or a lot of things that we may not be able to do, or we just have an exception of people who can really do it. But we just want to live in that delusion. And I think one of the reasons why people live in delusions is because it feels good. It's like when you're daydreaming about something you really want. That feeling, that good feeling when you're fantasizing about your dream lover boy, or your dream jackpot job, or now you're in America, or now you're a mother of 5 children. Whatever it is your wish. That's good feeling. Hormones actually release when you feel good. So that good feeling that you get when you fantasize about things, when you daydream, is the same good feeling you get when you're being delusional. But the sad thing about being delusional is that you're not being real. And this world is real. I am real. Talking to you, I am real. The world is real. The world is real. And the world is not as merciful and kind and you get everything you want here kind of world like in your delusion world. So it's important to always remind yourself and bring yourself back and not live in delusion land, delulu land. What am I trying to say in particular? I am saying that women in our generation think we can do, or think we have the ability to, or we have the privilege to do some things that we actually don't. And I think that is where this liberal movement started, from the LGBTQ community, where they think they can be anything and everything that they want. And then you see that nature is already backing and lashing back at them, where a lady who converted herself to being a man is now having a lot of health complications, because you can't cheat nature. You just cannot cheat nature. You are what you are, and you can't cheat nature. One of the delusions is I am a 10 over 10, and I will continue to be a 10 over 10. Whenever I'm ready to get married, I'm going to marry the man of my dreams. You're actually a 10 over 10. You can actually be a 10 over 10, and you can actually marry the man of your dreams. But the problem with that thing you have just said is your time is ticking, your clock is ticking. I think I talked about biological clock when I was talking about, was it boundaries or what? It's important to note that, so it helps you remember that there's also reality where those things don't happen. The delusion of I can do anything and everything, not quite true, because the woman's biology is not as strong as the man's biology. So except for exceptions who have a body built, who have it built in their genes as well. You know, there's some ladies who actually look like they have a manly body structure. Then, except for those exceptions, women's powers, physical powers, are not as strong as men's powers. But something we should focus more on is our strengths. You know, one bad thing about being delusional is that delusional people focus on what they don't have, so they can fill in the gap of that thing they don't have. Your delusion, because being delusional is not real, right? So it means whatever you're being delusional about, you don't have it yet, but you're trying to make up for it by being delusional. And one of the ways to help yourself to not be delusional is focusing on your strengths and not your weaknesses. Look at yourself as someone who is an inborn better, someone who, you know, there's this study that shows that women, firms and companies where women are part of the board of directors, those companies have shown to have thrived better even in crisis time, like in COVID-19 season, than companies that had only men. It just shows how that women are better at coordinating and, you know, creating things than men are. That is your strength. It doesn't mean men are bad at it or men are useless. They also have their strengths. So focusing on your strengths, focusing on what you have, because whatever you're going to do, whatever you're going to create, whatever you're going to achieve will come from what you already have. So, but when you despise what you have because you're not contented, you're looking at what you don't have so that you can have it, then delusion sets in.